In other news, the Ministry of Health confirmed 82 new community transmissions of COVID-19 in the northern provinces of Hải Dương and Quảng Ninh this morning. The cases break Vietnam's 55-day run of zero community transmissions. In Quảng Ninh, patient 1553 is a 31-year-old employee at the Vân Đồn International Airport. From these patients, 10 more cases have been confirmed as positive. Meanwhile, in Hải Dương, 72 cases have tested positive out of 170 samples. According to the Ministry of Health, all new infection cases are related to the new variant of COVID-19. Relevant authorities have activated COVID-19 prevention and control measures, including implementing disinfection work and placing related contacts under quarantine. Quảng Ninh Province has requested cloud gathering activities to be minimized and has isolated all the areas and implemented social distancing measures in Uông Bí district. Deputy Prime Minister Vũ Đức Đam has requested data from all flight passengers, equivalent to 3,500 people, be traced from January 15 until now. Immediately after recording new cases of SARS-CoV-2 in Hải Dương and Quảng Ninh Province, early this morning, Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc chaired an emergency meeting to direct the implementation of drastic measures to combat the pandemic.
According to the Ministry of Health, after receiving a report from Japan about the Hải Dương women who tested positive for SARS-CoV-2 after entering the city of Osaka on Wednesday, the Minister of Health immediately sent an anti-pandemic task force to Hải Dương to support the locality in implementing epidemiological investigations and surveillance, as well as measures to respond to the pandemic, according to the direction of the Prime Minister.
We have conducted large-scale journeying to find the source of the outbreak, including the entire Cộng hòa Commune that housed the factory where COVID-19 patients work. We have proposed isolating the entire plant. This morning, all samples from workers at the factory and several other factories in the vicinity, as well as patients' residential areas, were taken, totaling tens of thousands of samples.
The Prime Minister also asked ministry, branches and localities to urgently and proactively implement preventive measures to control and thoroughly stamp out the pandemic to prevent a large-scale outbreak. The Prime Minister emphasized that measures must be implemented immediately to ensure the health and lives of pupils, as well as a safe state holiday.
The Ministry of Health, the National Steering Committee for COVID-19 Prevention and Control, and the authorities of the two provinces have promptly and drastically taken measures to combat the outbreak. However, measures must be taken more seriously to ensure that no one moves from Hải Dương and Quảng Ninh to other provinces, so that we can continue screening and find the outbreak sources. We need to be calm, as we have been through this situation before.
This afternoon, the Prime Minister plans to issue a directive on strengthening the prevention and control of COVID-19 with strong and drastic measures on social distancing according to Directive 15 and 16 for outbreak areas in Hải Dương and Quảng Ninh.
The current outbreaks in Hải Dương and Quảng Ninh provinces have caused the biggest COVID-19 community outbreak in Vietnam so far. Deputy Prime Minister Vũ Đức Đam said at an urgent meeting of the National Steering Committee for COVID-19 Prevention and Control.
According to the Deputy Prime Minister, the cases that are all related to new strains of COVID-19, which spread quickly and also the country long border. The Ministry of Health has deployed functional teams to Chí Linh District, Hải Dương Province, to contain the spread. The teams are working around the clock to trace all contacts of patients and F1 and F2 cases. He required all public places such as airports, crowded transport sites, medical facility, factories, schools, and marketplaces to enact safety measures according to their abilities. He also asked leader of the two affected provinces, the Ministry of Health, and relevant forces to take stronger prevention and control measures and ensure the safety of those involved in the work.
Meanwhile, an urgent meeting of the Haizeng Steering Committee for the Prevention of COVID-19 was held this morning to implement measures to address the current outbreak of COVID-19. The committee has requested urgent tracing and handling of the outbreak. Samples have been taken from workers at a company in Qiling City, and several villages around the living areas of the new cases have been isolated and disinfected. All residents of Kim Dien village will be tested, as well as more than 2,200 workers from the company. Authorities also plan to check for any illegal residences in the province. Crowd gathering activities have been stopped and transport activities have been minimized.